In this video, we are going to explore how to calculate the areas of rectangles, parallelograms, triangles, and trapeziums using 4 specific formulas. Before diving into the shapes, let us first clarify the meanings of the letters in these equations. The capital letter A represents the area, which refers to all of the space contained within the shape and is the value we are aiming to determine. The letter L signifies the length, describing how long the shape is, while W stands for width, which is how wide the shape is. The letter B, often written as P in some cases, refers to the base, which is the length of the shape's bottom edge. The letter H denotes the height, representing how tall the shape stands. Lastly, the lowercase letter a, which appears specifically in the trapezium formula, stands for the length of the trapezium's top edge. Now that we understand these variables, let's examine each formula in detail, starting with the rectangle. The formula for the area of a rectangle is that area equals length multiplied by width. For example, if a rectangle measures 7 centimeters in length and 3 centimeters in width, we simply multiply 7 by 3 to get 21, and the units become square centimeters. You can also view this formula as area equals base times height, where the base would be the 7 centimeter side and the height the 3 centimeter side. Regardless of interpretation, the result remains the same, 21 square centimeters. Moving on to the parallelogram, which is essentially a slanted version of a rectangle, we use a very similar formula. In this case, area equals base multiplied by vertical height. It is important to note that the vertical height is the perpendicular distance from the base to the top and not the slanted side. So, if the base of a parallelogram is 9 centimeters and the vertical height is 4 centimeters, then the area would be 9 multiplied by 4, resulting in 36 square centimeters. Now, let us consider the triangle. The formula to calculate its area is 1/2 multiplied by the base, and then by the vertical height. Suppose a triangle has a base of 12 meters and a height of 5 meters, the area would be 1/2 times 12 times 5, which equals 30 square meters. The presence of the 1/2 in this formula is due to the fact that if we merely multiplied the base and height, we would be calculating the area of a full rectangle that contains the triangle. That rectangle would have an area of 60 square meters, but since the triangle occupies only half of that space, we need to include the 1/2 to account for this difference. Even if the triangle does not contain a right angle, you still use the same formula, 1/2 multiplied by base and height, just making sure to use the vertical height that extends to the highest point of the triangle. Finally, we have the trapezium, which uses the formula, area equals the sum of the top and bottom sides divided by 2, then multiplied by the height. In other words, area equals open bracket a plus b close bracket divided by 2, all multiplied by h. The reason this equation appears more complex is because trapeziums have top and bottom sides of differing lengths. Therefore, instead of simply using the base times height formula, we must find the average length of the top and bottom sides before applying the vertical height. To do this, we add the top and bottom lengths together, which is the a plus b portion, and then divide that total by 2 to calculate the average length. This average is then multiplied by the vertical height to determine the area. For example, if the bottom of a trapezium is 14 centimeters, the top is 8 centimeters, and the vertical height is 7 centimeters, we first add 14 and 8 to get 22, then divide by 2 to get 11, and finally multiply by 7 to obtain an area of 77 square centimeters.